I grew up in Montana, yes. Sometimes we would get up and we would have a snowdrift covering up to the roof line. Oh, I remember I had to climb out to the window and go to the garage and get some shovels and shovel a path to the front door. To reveal the front door, it was completely encased in snow. And then we'd have to deal with black ice. The blackest of blackest, the blackest, the blackest, the blackest, the blackest, the blackest of ice. Oh, it's no very nice. The school system in Montana never closed for bad weather, never once, and didn't understand. So you'd see tons of cars moving at 2 miles per hour with a blizzard. It was really weird. But you would see lots of kids in the classroom, approximately 2/3 or so, because a third of them were transplants from another area and they didn't know how to handle the weather either. And that's how it went. The hallways were dripping with water, very moist, yes. All the people were nice, but not the boys. They would take snowballs and put rocks and pebbles inside and throw them at your ass. Then I moved to a little place called the Big Apple, Big Apple, oh yeah. I lived on 3rd and C with a very good bunch of company, yes. A playwright, and an editor, and a playwright. It was a 7th-floor walk up, fuck that shit. It was very far away from any public transportation, and that also really sucked. I didn't make enough to take a cab, so I was walking a lot. I had to plan ahead to figure out if there was going to be any delay beyond the walk that I'd have to do. You see, I'm the kind of person that likes to wait to the last minute to do anything. It really fucks you up when you're not really close to transportation and shit, you know what I'm saying? But then I had the chance to move to Brooklyn Heights. Brooklyn Heights, yes. Bad idea. Oh yes, there's the promenade. Oh yes, there's beautiful brownstones. But then you have to deal with the stupid ass college kids with their stupid cigarettes and their attitudes. But most of all, McLaren strollers with ethnic nannies, white babies, McLaren strollers, and ethnic nannies. I thought I was going to die of boredom. Oh, I'm sure it's fine if you need a McLaren stroller and a nanny, but to me that's not a very good time. So I dreamt of moving to a place of cliches, a circus assortment of human frames, people who knew the meaning of irony. I moved to the Williamsburg, the pretty Williamsburg. Moved to 3rd and Wythe, right next to a wonderful diner called Relish. Nice, lovely people that work inside of Relish. I relish, best burger in town. one of them. Yeah. I lived with a guy who was super smart. He was super smart. He started an internet company with some friends. Made a lot of money. He was enterprising. His brain was go. We did a lot of little projects, video and otherwise. We had a good time, we had a fellowship of the druggish kind, yeah. I love living by the L, arguably the best train as long as you live up the Bedford stop, yeah. 'Cause it's just a straight shot across town, and that's always the shittiest part of Manhattan. To get from one side to the other, up and down's not so bad. I liked the shape and the attitude of the people, 'cause it was very funny that we all acted like we couldn't see each other, but really we were checking the various forms of jewelry and clothing that we were wearing, the various unkempt states of presenting oneself, so that it looks as though you probably don't have a job. And that is part of the look, because it makes you feel as though you're filtering people that you do not want to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's a protectionist reaction, yeah. So if you have a problem with people that identify themselves as hipsters, well, it's just a classification that likes to insulate itself so that it's not infiltrated, even though they're infiltrating themselves by making facsimiles and copies of themselves within their own population, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I love all the little variations, the people that live in the various areas. 'Cause when you need help, people in New York are surprisingly helpful. They forget all the costumes that they're wearing and they just get to the matter and pragmatically solve it so that they can move on throughout their day. Oh yes, that's living in New York City. That's living in New York. Now I don't live anywhere. I haven't since that place I lived with the internet guy went away in March. I've been on airplane, then another airplane, then an airplane, another airplane, continent, airplane, another continent, airplane, another country, airplane, airplane, here's an airport. I have a preference of airport, that's a lot of flying. I thought that I was dying. I didn't know where home was. I still don't really know, but I planned it so I'd be here for a month and a half at least. So now I feel like I live here. Yes, I feel like I live here. I think that someday a place will fall from the sky. I know it takes work and stuff, but you know, when sometimes you're a guy and you don't have a lot of patience and you just can't figure out how it is to talk to a broker or look in the paper and actually do the footwork to look at spaces and things like that. Because since I've lived in New York, people have just said, hey, why don't you live here? And it's worked like that. So I'm used to that form of reality accommodating in that way. So I guess it forms a type of laziness, but I'm rather productive in a creative way. So I kind of rationalize my lack of behavior to be kind of initiative in that kind of a way, you know, towards finding a living space. That's what we do. It's part of the rat race. That's what we do. That's what we do. But then there's Facebook. You can ask anyone on the Facebook. Do you have a little place? Do you have a little place that I can stay at? And sure enough, the singer from Thievery Corporation, I don't even know her very well. She said that she was going on vacation and I could stay at a place just off the Gram Stop. A really wonderful location if you like White Castle. If you like White Castle, the castle of whiteness. Her place is lovely, I rather like it. She She lives like I'd like to live, but I got so used to not paying rent for the last 4 years of my life. It's hard for me to rationalize that. Instead, I buy an iPhone and an extra computer, yes, and some gadgets, a camera that has a 12 times optical lens, but still relatively inexpensive, but with stereo microphones embedded, so it's a small version of a high-quality instrument that you would normally pay for. I like to take vacations. I like to stay in places that are really strange, and if my friend says, I'm in Berlin, would you like to join me? I say, okay, because I'm not paying rent. I have enough money to have an airfare over there. Maybe I could get a gig. So I ask my manager, and she says, well, I don't really know that market very well, but I'll see what I can do. She doesn't give me a gig, but that's okay, because she got me this gig, and this is a pretty cool gig. It's got, you see all this stuff that's on display. But I say, life is pretty good. Life is pretty great, you know what I'm saying? Life is pretty awesome. Like, for instance, this is my last example. Here we go. I hurt my back 4 years, 4 days ago. Same notes, shorter. 4 days ago, yeah. It hurt real bad. I could barely walk. It was my lower back. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I never experienced anything like that before. Oh, no, yes. But then the next day, a friend of mine, she's a photographer, and she's really cool, but I rarely get to see her because she's really busy, and that's what happens in New York. People that you want to hang out with, you never get to because they're always busy doing other projects and shit. You know how that works? Yes, I think you do. Yes, you do. Oh, yes, it's true. Yes. So here it goes. Scooby-Shooby-Doo. Yeah. So she gave me a present backstage after the first night of filming. It was a little tiny box with a lot of stickers and rainbow stickery, other things that are stickery and stickish that kind of presented, became festooned with a kind of a logic that was very celebratory in a mild way. And then I took off that stuff and I opened the box, and there were 3 Vicodin sewn across their middles inside of a jewelry stuff that fit perfectly to match the dimensions of that box. How wonderful is that? I don't even really know her that well, but she reached out and gave me something that made me feel rather swell. Oh yes, it's a wonderful life, yes. Oh, a wonderful life. I didn't think so. That was many days ago. I said, why is this happening before I'm filming? And then someone gave me some ibuprofen. And ibuprofen is closely related to aspirin, but I didn't know that. And I'm deathly allergic to aspirin, so I had a huge allergic reaction. And I had to counteract it by physically chewing on Benadryl pills. And just before I thought I was going to go to the hospital, I said, you know what? I think I might be okay. And then I went on stage and performed, and weird shit happened. But that is life. What does the future behold? The future? I don't know, guys. But we're all in it together. We can make the future stronger, or we can make the future weaker. Either way, the future's out there. And depending on the choices that you make, you can steer yourself towards the correct reality, although the other reality will continue to exist as well if you want to shift into it. But in order to gain the awareness to shift into that reality, well, that requires a lot of energy. And I don't really have that kind of energy, so I generally tend to listen to the intuitive side of myself, which hopefully guides me to the right place, but not always, obviously, because relationships are a very difficult thing for me to maintain. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I have friends, and friends, above all relationships, are incredibly important. And if you have a friend, remember to always love your friend, because that friend's going to be there besides the sexuality, and that's incredibly important. Because you see, in the end, we lose our sexuality to a certain degree, and we need to kind of just realize that we're actually just kind of weird organizations of molecules that kind of conform to an atmosphere content that is a self-awareness unit that is part of a larger collective. And that's like one of those things where you're like, oh my God, you know, but nonetheless, that's probably how it is. So listen, before I go, I'd like to say this to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're all geniuses. Let's go out and destroy the world!